The Democrats that were at Donald Trump's inauguration hate party can learn a lot from this bishop. Watch this.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land. May God grant us the strength and courage to honor the dignity of every human being, to speak the truth to one another in love, and walk humbly with each other and our God for the good of all people in this nation and the world. Amen.
While watching Donald Trump's inauguration hate ball, I felt an overwhelming sense of frustration seeing Democrats sitting passively at this grotesque rally. As Trump spewed some of the most vile and repugnant rhetoric I've ever heard in this nation, it was baffling to see Democrats act as if nothing out there was out of the ordinary and nothing weird was happening. Let me make this abundantly clear. As Trump openly advocates for the release of right-wing domestic terrorists, brazenly referring to them as heroes, the Democrats sat quietly behind him as if they were just another day in paradise. At what point will Democrats wake up to the reality that we no longer live in normal times? This is not politics as usual. This is a battle for the soul of our country. You know, back in 2016, Trump had some constraints, many within his own administration acting as guardrails, occasionally reining in most of his outrageous impulses. They'd slap his hand, send him off with a cheeseburger, and tell him, no! Now fast forward to 2025, and those days are over. Trump now surrounds himself with people who not only allow him to indulge in his worst instincts, but actively encourage him to push the boundaries further than ever before. If Democrats insist on using the same old tired playbook, you know, the when they go low, we go high approach, Republicans are going to continue steamrolling their way to complete domination. At some point, it will simply be too late to reverse course. This is no longer a time for platitudes and half measures. Democrats need to grasp the severity of this moment. Action is not optional, it's essential. People need to fortify themselves, step out of their comfort zones, and confront this dangerous trajectory head on. Hiding under the covers, taking mental breaks, or disengaging from the harsh realities of this political landscape isn't just unhelpful, it's irresponsible. The time for refreshing and recharging has passed. This fight demands stamina, focus, an unrelenting commitment. Stop being so fragile. Democrats must toughen up, get organized, and take meaningful action. The United States as we once knew it, a land of democratic norms, checks and balances, and shared values, is slipping away. It's time to stand up and push back against the radical right's relentless agenda. Americans cannot afford to allow a would-be dictator to continue dismantling the foundation of this country. It's time to act now. So for those of you checking out, for those of you turning off the news because it's just too stressful for you, you know, the last 4 years with Donald Trump out of office and Joe Biden in office, do you think the Republicans checked out? No, they just got stronger. They got more as a group. They took action. Democrats, you got to do it. You got to do it now.